perception deception. Everything and every perception is a point of observation. It is a point of observation from a certain perception of reality and a certain perception of possibility. Therefore, from mainstream science's perception of possibility, basically, although they know and have to, unfortunately, and it's their worst nightmare, but they have to acknowledge that quantum physics and such like exists, but then they just, as we say in Britain, cock a deafen and ignore the fact that it does exist when they carry on with their particular discipline. So we have a situation where they are, from their point of perception, looking at the world from the point of view that basically the world is solid, that everything's apart from everything else, that what you see is what you get and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
And from that point of view, that is their version of reason, logic, sanity, normal, and rational, the perception deception, because that's what it is. The perception deception, because that's what it is. But when you move to another point of observation, which says that actually the world is not solid, it's holographic, that everything is connected to everything else, because everything in the end is one infinite awareness having different experiences through different points of observation, different points of attention, then you start to realize that the base form of everything is energy. In our reality, it's waveform information. And what we're seeing as the so-called physical world is merely a holographic projection of that information. Now, from that point of view, the reason, logic, and normal perception of everything that comes from the mainstream science point of attention, observation, and awareness is anything but reasonable, anything but logical. If you can impose and make your norms the prime arbiter of truth, no truth, possibility or no possibility, then you can entrap the minds and perceptions of billions of people. It's all coming from the program. And when people say they wake up, I woke up. Well, they did. They woke up from the trance, which is the software program. And what do they say then? They say, why didn't I see it before? Because it's so obvious when you go beyond the program. But the program is, when you're in the program's telling you what to see and what not to see. And it doesn't want you to see that it's a program.
Sure.
So round and round the garden we go.
Yeah.
And the only way of escaping the program, in my view, is to move from mind into consciousness. And these are words, and we use them in different definitions of what we mean. What I call mind is that which is dominated in its perception of reality by the five senses. And that I call mind. And then consciousness is that which is beyond that. It's all the same thing in the end, but consciousness has a different point of attention within infinite awareness to mind, whose point of attention is dominated by the five senses. And the idea, if you get to the bottom line of this whole conspiracy, and I called the new book The Perception Deception, because that's what it is. The Perception Deception. The Perception Deception. The Perception Deception, because that's what it is. The whole thing's about the deceiving perception and manipulating perception, because once you've got someone's perception, you've got their behavior. Yeah. You've got their responses, you've got their emotional responses, you've got their mental responses. This is what it's all about. And if you are dominated by the five senses, and if you look at this society, everything is watch this, touch this, feel this, listen to this. It's all enticing the five senses in. The idea, the whole foundation of this whole global conspiracy is to pull our point of attention into the five senses. Because once you do that and it dominates your reality to the point where you can't hear or be influenced by your greater consciousness, then you're not going to have that beyond this world filter of information and experience to give yourself a bigger picture fix on what's happening and why. You're dominated in your perception by what the five senses are decoding, and therefore, once the system has disconnected from an influence of the greater consciousness and isolated their point of attention in mind-body, the perception deception,